If you've seen the last few videos that I've published, you'll know that I've been breaking into my closet where I have all my death pile of eBay inventory that I've purchased and haven't gotten listed yet. And I went in there and I got through, I might say 20 items maybe in the last 2 or 3 days. And I figured, okay, well, that's a time for me to reward myself with a shopping trip. So I went out to the Goodwill yesterday and spent about $85. And then today on my lunch break at work, I stopped at this little thrift store I sometimes go to and got 3 things there. And then I've got I've got all these drafts written up of all these things, so I'm going to show you the items that I've brought home in the last couple of days. And I get it. I'm not supposed to be bringing in inventory until I get through that death pile, but I did find some decent stuff, I think. So let's take a look at it. Okay, I'm gonna just set this camera up and go through these items right here and tell you what I got, what I paid for them, what I think they're going to be worth, and maybe we'll decide if it was. I'll let you tell me if you think it was worth it to do these shopping trips. Okay, I'm going to start with this little cat right here. This is like a porcelain ceramic statuette of some kind. This is made by Beswick in England. The model number is 1876 on the bottom, so it was pretty easy to search this and find some comps. What wasn't so easy with this is that the comps are all over the place. Like the cheapest one I saw sold for like $12, and then the most expensive one was like 75 or 80. So this one was $5. I'm going to start with the things I got at the thrift store today, and then I'll move on to the Goodwill after that. But yeah, so I picked this guy up for $5 at that thrift store, and I don't know. I'm gonna just try to go right in the middle pricing wise and mark him or her at $45. Then I got these slippers. This is a company called LB Evans. I never heard of this, but these are brand new men's slippers. They have the box, so that's a good selling point. They still have like the foam inside and this cardboard inside, so these have obviously never been worn. The lid to the box has a little tear on it, so that might not be, could be better, but it's not terrible. I paid a little bit more for these than I would have liked. They were $18, and in the store I was just looking up the brand LB Evans slippers, and I found some that were selling pretty regularly for like 80 to 100, which seems crazy for these kind of slippers, but that's what was happening. But I didn't notice, because of the lid here, I didn't notice this label that had the actual model name, or whatever you call it, of these slippers. So when I got home, I looked them up, and they're not quite as good as I thought. I still think there's some that were selling for like close to 60, 65, but I'm just going to get those. I'm going to put them at 50. So $18 into 50 is fine. That's not something I would normally jump at, but it'll be okay. These New Balance, they don't have the box, obviously. They got these Velcro straps, walking shoes. These were only 12, and I mean they obviously have never been worn. They're in pristine condition. I think these are worth like probably 60 to 75. If they had the box, maybe more. They're not a great size. Oh, I think they're like size men's 8.5. Whoops. Size men's 8. So not a great size, but they'll sell sooner or later. And I'm going to list them for $60. Okay, what's next? This is a little bookmark. It's like, it's called an automatic bookmark, where it has like a metal wire on the back. You clip this to the back page, and then somehow every time you fold a page, the wire stays there, keeps your book open while you're reading it, and marks the page when you're done. So it's called the first ever automatic bookmark. There's none of these listed and one sold, so it's hard to know what the sell-through rate is. But the one that was sold was like $14.99, so I think I'm going to list this one for like $12 or $13. I got it for only 50 cents at the Goodwill. This is starting into my Goodwill trip from yesterday. Next up, some CDs. I got this which is sort of like a best of the Hollies, I guess. It's a 3-disc set. It's on Parlophone, which I think is the same as Rhino. I don't know. Anyway, the prices on this are a little tough too. There's some that are selling for like 20. There were only 2 that have sold in the last 3 months. One for like 25, but the other one for like 59.99. So what I'm not sure how much CDs are at the Goodwill, probably $3. So I'll probably try to sell this for 40. Okay, I saw this Fishing with John CD, and this was a TV series. I think it was on the Independent Film Channel. I saw it on a DVD from the Criterion Collection, and it's just a strange show where John Laurie, this jazz musician, takes his celebrity friends on fishing trips, and then there's voiceover about sort of existential philosophy over the top of it. I think it has a little bit of a cult following. This is another one where I was finding pricing all over the place, so it's hard to know really what this is worth. I'm gonna just try to get $15.99 for it. 30 something, the TV series DVD. I'm not looking at DVDs much at the stores, and I just like make a quick pass, sweep over everything and see if anything jumps out at me. Sometimes I'm looking for ones that are sealed, just in case there's something. And this is the final season of 30 something, the TV series from, I'm not sure when it was on. It would have been like the last season, probably 1990. I think of this as an 80s show, but I'm not sure when the final season aired. I think there was only 3 seasons or maybe 4. Anyway, this one, sometimes I think TV series, the final seasons are more valuable because they may have been producing these DVDs at the time when DVDs were sort of fading out, and so maybe they didn't produce them in the same quantities. Like maybe season 1 they produced millions of copies. This season, final season, half as many, tenth as many, who knows. Anyway, this one is selling sealed for like between $30 and $45. I'm going to put this one at $36.99. This one might have been a mistake. Another one where there's just not a lot of sales history, but it was brand new, sealed DVD documentary about Vincent van Gogh. This is from '87. I never heard of this movie, and I'm interested in documentaries and Vincent van Gogh, so I never heard of it. But there's a couple that have sold for like just hovering around $20. So I'm going to list this one at 20 and try to get $20 for it. But there are some listed right now that are in the like $65 range, I think. Okay, this is a mistake I definitely made. There was all kinds of paperwork in here, so I couldn't really see very clearly what was in this plastic container, and I assumed it was sealed. I've made this mistake before with these kind of packages that are they're like bubble sealed, where you can pop it open and reseal it. So somebody took the actual part out of here and then just left the wires. It's a battery charger basically for a small vehicle battery like a motorcycle. I paid $5 for it. If it was complete, it would sell easily for 45 or 50 without any of the stuff. I think I'm going to just try to sell the cables in there. There must be somebody that wants those, and I think I can get $15 or $20 for those. So I'll list those I'll probably start them at 20 and drop it down to 50 if I have to. Okay, another pair of shoes. These are called the Good Man brand, something I've never heard of. They say made in Italy, so that is usually a signifier of something that's going to be valuable, made in Italy, clothing wise. Yeah, the pricing on these all over the place again. Almost everything I picked up was just wildly priced. So some of these are listed right now. There's a pair of these that look identical but with white laces. That's only listed for like $11, but then there's also some that are like $90 or $100. They have a little wear back on the heel, so they're not in perfect condition, and some scuffs on the leather. So some of these have sold, not currently listed, but sold for like 70, but also some sold for like 45. So who knows? I'm just gonna list them at 45. I only paid $7 for them. All right, next up are these VHS tapes. Again, very, very little sales history on these. There's one of these that sold for like $45. And then there's one currently listed that's like 90. So I think probably the 45 is a little bit more reasonable. I'm not sure how much VHSs are at the Goodwill. Probably $2.99. That's my guess. So this is like a religious documentary. This other one, I'm not sure why I bought this. I must have searched it in the store and had an idea that it was worth something. But when I get home and looked it up, there's like 10 or 12 of these listed right now for $7. So I decided to just lot them up together, get rid of it. I'll just list this one for 45 and throw this one in as a bonus. I think I paid $6 for the two of those. All right, and then this is a good one. I'm not going to take it out of the box, but these Villaware, I usually look for the pizzelle makers, like Italian cookies, the thin, like, they're like wafer cookies. Those sell pretty good. Even if they don't sell for a ton of money, like if they're used, they're real dirty, they don't sell for a huge amount of money, but they usually sell pretty quickly. So I think I have 3 or 4, maybe even, this might be number 6 going into my shop right now. So hopefully I didn't, hopefully I'm not working on old information and maybe the market has changed on these, but this is for making Belgian waffles. This one, the box is in rough shape, but the machine in there is brand new. It's still wrapped in plastic. The cord still has the original tags tied around it to, like, what do you call those? Plastic ties holding it together. So there's only used ones listed right now, and only used ones have sold. And those are ranging from like $25 to like $65, depending on how good they look. Since this one's brand new, I'm gonna take a chance that I can get $100 for it, and I only paid $10 for it. I think there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 more items that I got at the Goodwill upstairs still that I did not, that I haven't gotten drafts ready for. These items are just waiting to get pictures taken and get them listed, so I'll work on all of that tomorrow. Right now, I'm gonna grab the 3 orders that came in today, which is a pretty slow day after the last 4 or 5 days have been really good. A slow day today, but these 3 orders have to go out tomorrow. It's pretty late now. I think it might be after midnight. I'm not sure why I waited so long to come down here and work, but I got these 3 orders to pack. They need to get out tomorrow, so I'm gonna pack them, and I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, so I pulled the 3 sales, the items that sold today out, and I'm gonna quickly add yesterday's sales to this tally board. So there were 7 sales on Wednesday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Today is Thursday. We're gonna have 3 tomorrow, but maybe 4 or 5, depending on what happens. Probably not getting more sales after midnight, but I did just get somebody messaging me about a small little Cabbage Patch toy that I have. They want to know the exact size of it. So I don't always answer those kind of questions, but I pulled it out of a box, took a picture of it, and sent it off to the shopper so she could decide if she wants to buy this thing or not. It's probably only $10 or $12. Okay, so right here we have a few things ready to go. So I'm gonna start here at the top. This is a pretty vintage Sears. It's not, I don't know if you would call this flannel. Is this a flannel shirt? I don't know. It's perma pressed. It's got to be some kind of a polyester. So I think this is probably from the late 70s or early 80s. It's I've had this listed for quite a while. I bought it all the way back in December of 2023 at the Goodwill. I can clearly remember seeing it, like see it across the room and know like that's a shirt I'm gonna go look at, because it's so brightly colored and different from all the other shirts in the store there. So yeah, I paid, what did I pay for it? $4? That seems unlikely. $4.21 for it. I mean, it's the Goodwill. Even back then in 2023, prices were starting to go up on those kind of things. So $4.23 I paid for it, and I sold it for $26.99 plus shipping. Sears. All right, how much does it weigh? Only 14 ounces. This probably could go in a bag. I just don't feel like doing that. It's $27. These boxes aren't much heavier than the bags, and I have a ton of these. 10 by 7 by 3, and it's going to JM. It was a pretty wild day today with the storms. You know, you can't really trust the weather reports these days. You just don't know what it's going to be. So this morning, is saying like light rain, so I wasn't too worried about pineapple. If you watch some of my videos before, I'm often talking about my dog and his noise phobias, like he's so scared of storms and fireworks. And just as soon as it feels like we're past fireworks season, we start getting tons of storms again. So he gets I don't know, he gets so anxious, and then some kind of OCD kicks in and he starts doing these digging, obsessive digging, and he hurts himself by, you know, he just digs until his feet rub raw, and sometimes he's bleeding. Today the storm started at like, I'm gonna say 2 o'clock. I got a notification that there was storms coming, like major thunderstorms. These books are, let me open this. I got these 4 books. It's from a company called Rain Tree, or it's like, maybe it's a series of books called the Rain Tree. Anyway, they made a lot of these, and they're about sort of paranormal and mysterious stuff you might see episodes of The X-Files about. So this one's about Bigfoot, this one's about Abominable Snowman, Atlantis, and then Nefertiti. I'm not sure if she's mysterious or not, but it says she's a mystery queen, so maybe she was mysterious. Anyway, I got these out of a little free library, and I know there's going to be some controversy about taking books out of those libraries and selling them, but these aren't books that anybody, you know, some kid at the park is trying to find these books, so I don't feel too bad about pulling them out of there. They're not incredibly valuable. I sold them these 4 books for 15 bucks. So yeah, anyway, I rushed home. I got the notification the storm was coming. I had work stuff I had to do, so I couldn't just leave right away. My job is pretty lenient about that kind of stuff. You know, if you need to go, you can just go. I can always work from home. If I knew that storm was going to be that bad, I might have worked from home, except I stayed home yesterday because I wasn't feeling well. Anyway, whoops, I rushed home and I got here and he was not, he's always waiting at the door when you get there, you know. He can hear the car coming and he's waiting. So I've been worried that if I'm not here when he's going through these times when he is just freaking out, I'm worried that he's going to hurt himself very seriously. He has like broken through electrical cords before with his incessant digging. Like he'll just pick a spot that he feels like I need to dig there, and sometimes it's a spot where there's electricity running, like lamp cords and whatnot. He has dug through those before, and luckily those things were connected to like remote switches, so he didn't get electrocuted. But it's possible that if he didn't electrocute himself, he could definitely burn himself or burn the house down, you know. I am worried about him damaging the house. You know, he is I mean, his activities are very destructive. Anyway, I came home today. He was not waiting for me at the door, and that made me worried. And then I called his name, and he did not come. I called his name 4 or 5 times, and he didn't come. And then I'm just thinking the worst, that he's hurt himself so badly that he can't come to find me, or, you know, possibly he has killed himself. You know, I've been worried about that. So I finally found him. He came out of the closet, and we have a sliding door. It's like mirrored glass door. And somehow or another, he had cracked that door. He cracked the mirror one time, a long time ago. I've never seen him doing anything with that door, but he wanted to get in that closet, and he was going to get in there no matter what. So somehow he dug his way through there. He cracked the mirror in the past. This time the door is like, it's not like it's shattered and fell into pieces, but it is really, really cracked. And there's one area where it's like spider webbed out, and there's like glass falling out. And he comes running out of the closet and his face is just covered with blood. It's scary, you know, you see him just covered like that. So I snatched him right up and I just drove to the vet immediately. And I've been wanting to go to a different vet, so this was kind of an opportunity to do that, to go find the vet that's nearby here that I've been wanting to go to. I didn't call them, I didn't make an appointment, I just ran over there. And went in and I asked, is there any way somebody can see him? I mean, you can see his face is just covered with blood. So somebody took the time to come out and check him out. He had scrapes on his face. I mean, who knows how he did it. And his face was covered with like crystals, what do you call it? Like, I wouldn't say shards of glass, but, you know, little bits of shiny glass all around the bloody areas on his face. So they took him in the back, checked him out, cleaned him up. He had a few little scrapes. And then we had a conversation about what we can do to try to keep him from hurting himself. So we got a whole regiment of medication now, and I don't really like the way he acts when he's on those drugs, but I'd rather he act lethargic than hurt himself. So this is what we're going to do now. We've got a whole series of drugs. I'm not going to go over all of the drug names. If anybody has any questions, you can ask them in the comments, and I'll tell you exactly what drugs we're giving him now. But it's basically, he's been on a drug that's like, use it as needed when you know there's going to be a storm coming or something. It's supposed to be, you're supposed to give it to him like 2 or 3 hours early. But these days you can't tell what the weather's going to be. Like, the weather reports are changing by the minute because of, I mean, I'm assuming it's because of budget cuts, and these organizations that track the weather are not able to do it the way they used to. So anyway, I've got drugs to give him at night, drugs to give him in the morning, drugs to give him as needed, pain medications for the scrapes on his face. So it's kind of what I've been fearing was going to happen. Like, it could have been a lot worse, but hopefully we're on track to get him the help that he needs. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to check in on him back at the vet in about a month and see if he's doing better. So, okay, anyway, I got this. I listed a bunch of these Harley Davidson t-shirts, and this was the one sweatshirt. I thought I had a kind of hit the jackpot on those, but almost every one of those shirts, all except for one, had some pretty severe damage. This one, I don't know if you can see it or not, has like a white, I don't know if you call it a stain when it's a lighter color. So there's about 6 or 8 spots like that on this shirt. And the tag is pulled out, so you don't know exactly what size it is. So I just listed it with measurements and said no tag, but it's assumed to be an extra large. Hopefully it all works out fine. It's not a very expensive shirt. I just listed it today. I think I had it listed for $17.99. Somebody offered me $16, and I just took it. Like, let's start making some money and getting rid of things. So $16, not a huge sale. So we're not gonna have a very big day today. I think it's gonna be like $50, maybe less, by the time we're done with buying shipping labels. So stick around. As soon as I'm done packing this, I'm going to buy the labels for these 3 things, and then we'll know exactly how much money we made on each item and for the entire day. So stick around. We'll be coming right back. As soon as I'm done here, we'll be coming back, and I'll tell you all about the profits that we made today. Okay, I got these 3 boxes all labeled up and ready to go. So let's find out how we did profit-wise, and it's not great. So, okay, that Sears shirt, plaid shirt, perma-pressed button-down long-sleeve shirt from the 60s or 70s I put in the title, so maybe I just guessed. I'm not sure. After fees and everything, we made $19.06 on that. For those Raintree books, the paranormal mystery books, we made $12.19. For the Harley Davidson sweatshirt, $12.26. So the total for today is only $43.51, which isn't going to do wonders for our average. Yeah, it drops our average down by like $3. So our average profit for each day during the month of July is $104.84. I'm aiming right now for $170, so that's got to go up. We got to have a lot of sales in a lot of days for the rest of this month, and I think there's only like 4 days or 5 days left this month. Okay, and then that means the average profit per each sale this month is $25.42. So I already put in the USPS pickup request. I'll put these out on the porch tomorrow morning, and my carrier will take them. And that's going to be it for tonight. So we'll be back, certainly be back tomorrow with another packing video. The day after that, probably some photography sessions. I'm not sure exactly what, but we're just going to keep going. I'm making videos every day of the week, so hit that subscribe button and follow along on my journey this year, trying to make I'm trying to make $50,000, not 150. So, okay, thanks a lot. Bye.